The day before the college entrance exam, it was the class beauty's birthday. Ethan Montgomery, her boyfriend, suggested we all go to a bar to celebrate and lift our spirits before the big day. Shockingly, even the top students from our rocket class, known for their discipline and academic focus, agreed. In my past life, I was a student committee member. I firmly opposed such a reckless idea. I said we should be resting and preparing mentally for the most important exam of our lives, not partying and drinking the night before. Ethan shot me a cold look and said, "You're just jealous again." My classmates joined in with sneers and mocking laughter. "Ugh, acting all high and mighty again? You're just bitter because Ethan cares about the class beauty and not you." I ignored their contempt and sincerely pleaded with them not to go. That night, I even called them one by one, making sure they stayed home and got enough rest. The next day, under the sweltering early summer sun, I arrived at the testing center early. I called them again, urging them to be on time and wishing them good luck. They all did well. Their scores were excellent, some even broke records. But just as we began to celebrate, devastating news broke. Sophie Bennett went to the bar alone that night. She drank too much, something terrible happened, and she was left emotionally devastated. Overwhelmed, she tried to harm herself. Ethan received her final phone call. After hearing her last words, he completely lost his mind. The next day, he and several classmates cornered me on the school rooftop. Without hesitation, they pushed me off. That moment ended my life. When the police investigated, they all gave matching false statements. She told us not to help Sophie. She said anyone who went to the bar would be disqualified from the exam. Afraid of failure, she jumped herself. They distorted everything, my calls, the footage. They built a false narrative to blame me. Then came the online outrage. The internet exploded. Strangers attacked my reputation and my family, turning me into a villain I never was. One night, someone targeted our home. A fire broke out. And my parents didn't make it. Ethan, who lived next door, stood silently on his balcony, arms crossed, watching the flames. He heard my parents screaming for help. And did nothing. Only after the fire was out did he call the fire department, pretending like it was all just a tragic accident. It wasn't until after my death that I learned the truth. Sophie had planned it all. Then, I opened my eyes. I was back. Same timeline. Same people. Same conversations. Ethan stood proudly beside Sophie, announcing, "See you all at the bar tonight." This time, I simply grabbed my bag, turned around, and walked away. Let them do what they want. Let them drink, dance, and pretend they're happy. I won't waste my breath trying to stop them. Never again will I sacrifice myself for people who never deserved it. After I died, Sophie had opened a live stream. In front of tens of thousands of viewers, she cried pitifully. Even though she bullied me and wouldn't let anyone help, the dead still deserve respect. I forgive her. She sniffled dramatically, wiping away invisible tears. But what happened left a psychological scar. I can't take the college entrance exam anymore. I've decided to go abroad instead. I'm sorry I couldn't fulfill my dream of getting into Yale. Sophie had always portrayed herself as a genius beauty, destined for Yale. Now, the internet was moved. "You're so brave and forgiving. You're still a role model. You're amazing, Sophie." Her followers skyrocketed by the millions overnight. But once the camera turned off, the mask fell. Curled in bed with a strange man, she giggled and whispered, "I never earned those high scores honestly. If I sat for the exam, I'd be exposed." This plan was flawless. I could avoid the exam and cover everything up at once. I was going to lure Ethan to the bar and frame him too, but that bitch Emma Carter ruined everything. Still, it worked. Now he feels so guilty. He says he'll take responsibility for me and the baby. She laughed, a sound so sharp, it could slice through bone. I wanted to lunge at her, choke the lies out of her mouth, make her pay. But then I heard a voice, familiar and venomous. "Emma, why are you always so angry?" Sophie invited everyone, even you. Can't you be more grateful? You act like you're better than us just because you study hard. So what? Sophie gets more attention just by being pretty online. You suck up to the class monitor all day, but he doesn't even like you. Now that he's with Sophie, you can't handle it, huh? These voices, the same ones that haunted me to death, now rang clear again. But this time, I wouldn't fight for them. This time, I'd fight for me. I stood frozen. Suddenly, I realized, this scene, this noise, was the night before the college entrance exam. I pinched myself. It hurt. Tears streamed down my face. I was really back. The laughter faded. The same people who had mocked me moments ago now fell silent. Did we go too far? She was just trying to help us, someone whispered. Sophie's eyes turned red. Her voice cracked. Emma, I didn't know you hated me so much. That you'd curse us all to fail. We're the rocket class. How could you ruin everything just because of my birthday? Ethan stepped forward, shielding her protectively, his eyes filled with disdain. Don't worry, he sneered, we're not like you, so scared of a test you run to the bathroom a dozen times and still mess it up. It's just the college entrance exam. Geniuses like us can breeze through it. The class erupted in laughter. I clenched my fists. My chest tightened. Back during the second-year class placement exam, the pressure had wrecked my stomach. I kept running to the bathroom, unable to focus, and missed the rocket class cutoff. After the test, I hid in the library and cried silently. Ethan had found me there. He gently wiped my tears, concern written all over his face. I asked Auntie to make you some porridge, he'd said softly. I know you're upset, but if you didn't do well this time, you'll do better next time. I'll help you catch up. We'll go to the same university. Back then, I believed in us. I thought our quiet romance would lead to something real. Then Sophie transferred in. And everything changed. I took a deep breath and unclenched my hands. Ignoring their laughter, I calmly packed my bag. You're right, I said quietly. In that case, I hope you all have fun. They were stunned. I didn't yell, cry, or lash out like they'd expected. The laughter died. The room fell silent. Some students awkwardly changed the subject, talking about drinks. Fruit wine's only 3%. No way that'll ruin the exam. I scoffed inwardly. That bar's so-called fruit wine could knock out a grown man in one glass. My dad's hospital had treated several teens with alcohol poisoning from that exact place. In my past life, I had tried to stop them because I cared. This time, I wouldn't waste my breath. I slung my bag over my shoulder, ready to leave. But to my surprise, Ethan didn't look triumphant, he frowned. Just as I turned to go, he suddenly grabbed my wrist. No. You're coming with us. The room froze. All eyes turned toward us. Why would she go? Someone muttered. She'll ruin the mood. Sophie chimed in softly, her voice laced with false concern, eyes wide and innocent. But what if Emma comes tonight, bombs the exam tomorrow, and then blames me? That would be so unfair. Her tone was gentle, but her eyes gave her away, nervous, calculating. She was afraid I'd actually go. Afraid I'd be there to stop her from getting Ethan drunk. And framing him for her pregnancy. Ethan scoffed. Don't forget who she is. Remember the Dragon Boat Festival? The English teacher forgot to assign homework, and she went and asked for test papers anyway. Then messaged everyone one by one and ruined the holiday. Silence. Students looked at me with mixed expressions, irritation, judgment, discomfort. I smiled bitterly. That had been a practice test from a top provincial school. Last year, many of its questions appeared in the real exam. Our teacher had gone out of her way to bring it to us to help our scores. I'd been afraid no one would know, so I contacted everyone myself. What I thought was responsibility, they saw as meddling. What I meant as help, they viewed as annoyance. That's when I realized how little they understood me, how easily they twisted my intentions. This time, I wouldn't play the hero. Let them drink. Let them celebrate. Let them face the consequences they're begging for. I would choose me. This time, I wouldn't waste my life on people who never truly saw me. Ethan raised his eyebrows. Maybe this time she'll call your parents again and tattle. That did it. I snapped. I'm not that petty, I said through gritted teeth. I won't interfere. I won't call anyone. I just want to go home, rest, and take the exam like a normal person. I reached for my bag. He yanked it away. What are you doing? I shouted, panic rising like a wave. The next second, he pulled out my admission ticket and held it high. My face went pale. I lunged at him. You're insane. Give it back. Ethan dangled it just out of reach, like teasing a kitten. I don't trust you, he said. Now that I've got this, you won't try anything stupid. Don't ruin Sophie's birthday. Tears burned in my eyes as my voice cracked. Ethan, you bastard. The hatred in my eyes made him flinch. His smug expression wavered, and for a moment, his tone softened. As long as you don't rat us out, I'll give it back, he said. Didn't we promise to go to the same university? Of course I'll return it to you. Just don't ruin Sophie's 18th birthday. I stared at him, my heart sinking like a stone. 18 years of childhood memories, gone. My future meant less to him than her party. I trembled, silently watching him. He couldn't even meet my gaze. Then, with a forced smile, he turned to the others. Crisis averted. Everyone, enjoy the night. Sophie immediately wrapped her arms around him, her voice syrupy sweet. Thank you, Ethan. This is the best birthday gift I've ever received. His ears turned red, but he didn't move away. Instead, he gently twirled a lock of her hair around his finger. As long as you're happy, he said softly. The class erupted into cheers, the noise rattling the windows. Best gift isn't the party, it's our class monitor, right? Come on. We're officially adults now. A kiss wouldn't hurt. Ethan chuckled, cut it out. But there was a flicker in his eyes. He didn't mean it. I stood in the corner, fists clenched so tightly my nails dug into my palms, nearly drawing blood. Laugh all you want. Let's see who's laughing during the exam tomorrow. I didn't even bother grabbing my school bag. I turned and walked out. But they weren't done. Ethan's voice rang out cold and sharp. Lock her in the gym. Let her out after the party. I froze. My eyes went wide. You're insane. Let me go. Several boys grabbed me, twisting my arms behind my back. I kicked and screamed, but they dragged me to the old gymnasium. They threw me to the ground, pain shot through my arm as my skin scraped against the concrete, blood pooling beneath me. Ethan stood at the doorway. For a second, he hesitated. Then his expression hardened. He picked up my phone, stared at it, and stomped on it until the screen went black. Don't be petty, he said flatly. Just stay here. I'm the class monitor, I'm making sure the class has a good time. If it were your birthday, I'd do the same. His voice was cold. Robotic. Empty. I'll come get you later. Then the heavy iron door slammed shut. The room fell into complete darkness around me. I screamed for help until my voice cracked and my throat burned. No one came. Minutes passed. Or hours. I couldn't tell. Then, I heard footsteps. I scrambled to my feet, heart pounding. Help me. The door creaked open. It was Dad. He rushed inside, panic in his eyes, and pulled me into his arms. How could you go out partying before the college entrance exam? I knew something was wrong. I ran all over town looking for you, but I never imagined you'd be locked in the school. Was it Ethan? I won't let him get away with this. After 2 lifetimes, seeing my father alive again, real, breathing, holding me, broke me completely. I collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. He froze, unsure how to console me. It's okay now. Don't be afraid. Tell Dad what happened. I'm okay, I whispered, wiping my face. Really? I just want to rest. It would have been so easy to expose Ethan and ruin their little celebration. But that wouldn't be enough. I wanted them to regret it. For the rest of their lives. When Mom arrived and saw my bruises and scraped skin, her expression darkened instantly. But I simply said, I'm fine, Mom. I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to study abroad, and settle down with you. In my past life, I gave up an offer from a prestigious foreign university. All for Ethan's stupid promise. Let's go to college together. And what did I get in return? Humiliation. Betrayal. Heartbreak. This time, I wasn't going to gamble on whether he'd return my admission ticket. I gave up the college entrance exam. When we got home, I collapsed into bed and drifted in and out of sleep, haunted by memories of my previous life. When I finally woke, my pillow was soaked in tears. I took a deep breath, slid a SIM card into my old phone, and powered it on. My feed was flooded, posts from classmates, Ethan, Sophie, all proudly sharing their night. In one photo, Sophie leaned against Ethan's chest, her cheeks flushed, a coy smile on her lips. He looked gentle, indulgent. But my eyes landed on the empty fruit wine cans stacked behind them. That much alcohol? Forget performing well, some of them might not even wake up for the exam. Someone even uploaded a video. Give me a kiss. A voice shouted. The crowd erupted in cheers. Ethan pulled Sophie into his arms and kissed her deeply, like she was the only thing that mattered. I felt nothing but disgust and quickly shut it off. But then I saw a new notification. Sophie had posted a private story, visible only to me. The moment I opened it, I was hit by breathy, suggestive gasps. My stomach twisted. Even without watching closely, I knew it was Ethan with her. Sophie's voice followed, mocking and breathless. Emma, Ethan said he loves me. He's going to marry me when we get into college. Why would someone like you ever think you could compete with me? Then, she posted a photo. Shreds of paper. My admission ticket, torn into pieces. I told him to choose, she said. He tore yours up without hesitation. Said it was the perfect excuse to dump you and not go to the same school. I can't wait to see your face tomorrow. Enjoy your extra year in high school. Happy senior year in advance. Even though I'd expected it, half expected it, it still hit like a punch to the chest. Tight. Suffocating. 3 years of relentless studying. Reduced to trash. Just then, I heard the landline ring in the living room. I stepped out to see Dad answering it, a stunned look on his face. His voice rose in alarm. What? A student? A senior? Alcohol poisoning? Okay, I'll be right there. He turned to me, pale and sweating. Thinking I was worried about my classmates, he tried to reassure me. Don't worry, it might not be anyone from your class. I'll check. And even if it is, I'll make sure they recover. They'll make it to the exam. I looked at his concerned face. And remembered how, in my past life, I'd said the same thing. That night, I even dragged Dad to the school bus stop, just in case any classmates were too drunk to show up. He was ready to help them. Because I asked him to. I never expected those ungrateful brats would claim my father threatened them. That lie triggered a wave of internet outrage. They came to our home and destroyed it, claiming it was justice. My family paid the price for a lie. But this time? I would never let my father get caught in their mess again. The next morning, I ate the breakfast Dad made and took the bus to school. But as the exam drew closer, something felt off. The rocket class's shuttle bus stop remained eerily quiet. The teachers paced, clearly nervous. What's going on? Is the entire rocket class skipping the exam? Our homeroom teacher showed up, looking pale and disheveled. Behind him were a few students, ghostly white and trembling. When they saw me, they couldn't meet my eyes. Shame and regret hung on their faces. The principal arrived, grim-faced, listening as the teacher gave a shaky report. Then, he exploded. I warned you all. Again and again. Don't drink, don't eat out, stay disciplined before the exam. And now? Only 5 of you are even capable of sitting the exam. The rest are in the hospital. Some in the ICU? You've lost your minds. You've ruined your futures, and you've dragged mine down with you. His outburst caught the attention of nearby parents and media reporters. Oh my God. We've been disinfecting food at home daily, and these kids went drinking the night before the college entrance exam? Top students? What a joke. More like reckless punks. My kid might not be a genius, but at least he's responsible. Their parents must be losing it. I've covered education for years, one reporter said, but I've never seen a whole class drink themselves out of the biggest test of their lives. Cameras clicked furiously. The principal's face turned ashen. "It's over," he muttered. "I'm done. The school is done." The American teacher, who'd always adored Ethan and Sophie, looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Where are Ethan and Sophie? They were our Yale hopefuls." The academic director shook his head. "We haven't reached them. We've already notified the police." The principal staggered back, clutching his chest. Then his eyes landed on me. And hope flickered. Emma Carter is a good student. She stayed away from them. We still have one shot at placing someone in Yale. I lowered my eyes. Then, with quiet remorse, I said, "Ethan was afraid I'd report him. So he took my admission ticket. He hasn't returned it. I probably won't be able to take the exam." Bang! The principal collapsed on the spot. Panic broke out. Some rushed him to the hospital, others herded the remaining students onto the exam shuttle. I boarded the bus. The air was thick with tension. Someone had already started crying. "My dad's gonna kill me. I shouldn't have gone to that bar. What do we do now? I can't get into a top school. This is all Sophie's fault." I stared out the window, my face expressionless, listening to their pathetic sobs. "Weren't you all geniuses? Wasn't the exam just a formality? So what are you crying about now? Afraid to fail?" At the testing center, I was promptly turned away. "No admission ticket." One classmate overheard and looked at me with guilt. He whispered, "I'm sorry." After the rejection was confirmed, I turned and left. My father was furious. His face pale with rage, he cursed Ethan out loud. Before we even got home, the news had exploded. The parents of Rocket Class's top students launched a live stream, filed a joint legal complaint, contacted the police, and hired lawyers. They were out for blood. Demanding accountability from the school, from Ethan, and from Sophie. A scandal during the National College entrance exam? The internet erupted. Netizens flooded Sophie's social media, calling her a walking disaster. After a full day of silence, Sophie finally went live. Ethan sat beside her, pale and exhausted. Tears streamed down her face as she sobbed into the camera. "I'm really sorry. We didn't think things would end like this. We just wanted some cake." It was Emma who insisted on ordering the wine. She said it was light and that we could drink freely. Even though some people drank too much, the hospital overreacted. Emma's dad is the director there. He deliberately exaggerated everything to make it look like poisoning. She nudged Ethan gently. "You're her childhood friend, right? Back me up?" Ethan hesitated. His eyes flickered, but then he gritted his teeth and said, "Yes. I can confirm Emma suggested the drinks. She was jealous of Sophie and the rest of us. And her dad. He really is the hospital director." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Were they insane? And somehow, people believed them. Just hours earlier, netizens were demanding Sophie and Ethan be held accountable. Now? They turned their pitchforks toward me and my dad. Bang! A car window shattered, something struck my father. He collapsed instantly, badly injured. The car screeched to a halt. I slammed into the windshield. Everything went black. Through the ringing in my ears, I heard the mob. "Kill this heartless pair. They sent my son to the ICU, just to get back at classmates. They deserve to die. Make sure that doctor never works again." Someone screamed in a frenzy. I screamed, panicked and broken. "We didn't do it. Check the CCTV, I never went to that bar. My dad wasn't even on duty." Dad, bleeding and in pain, crawled over and shielded me with his body. "Don't be scared," he whispered. "Dad's here." I cried uncontrollably, choking on my own voice. "You'd been tricked?" Just then, my phone lit up. A message from Ethan. "Sorry, Emma. Sophie's family doesn't have money. If she gets sued, it's over for her. Your family's well off. You can afford to take the hit. Once this blows over, we can repeat the year and go to college together, okay? I stared at the screen and let out a bitter laugh. That was it. They chose to sacrifice us because we had something to lose. Ethan. You scumbag. Rot. In. Hell. The angry crowd pulled us from the car and attacked us, yelling and blaming us for everything. One of them raised his phone and started live streaming the violence. Somewhere in a safe, distant place, Sophie and Ethan watched it unfold. Sophie sighed in relief, leaning into Ethan with a flirtatious smile. Thank you for saving me, Ethan. He forced a smile, but his eyes were clouded with guilt and fear. As long as you're safe, I'll do anything for you. In the chaos, my mother arrived. She stormed in like a thunderclap, forcing her way through the crowd. Don't you dare touch my husband and daughter. Standing between us and the mob, she raised her phone. Her voice was icy, firm. The real culprits behind the student poisonings are Sophie and Ethan. I've uploaded the evidence. Don't believe me? Check for yourselves. The crowd hesitated. Silence fell. Then, everyone looked down at their phones. Footage began to play. Surveillance from the bar's private room. The one Sophie claimed I entered. Student after student appeared. But I never showed up. Not once. My daughter wasn't at the bar. How could she have forced anyone to drink? My mother's voice was calm, but each word struck like a blade. The comments section froze. Public opinion shifted. Sophie's face paled. But within seconds, the tears returned. This must have been part of her plan all along. She followed us but stayed outside, just so she could use this as an alibi. Suddenly, she pulled out a crumpled receipt. Look. Here's the drink bill. The card used, Emma's. Ethan jumped in, his voice eerily composed. She gave me her card outside. Said it was a birthday apology to Sophie. She insisted it was all fruit wine. He held up his phone and added, and here's a message from Emma's dad asking if she was with us. I replied yes. That's all the proof you need. I stared at them coldly. He had stolen my school bag. Used my money. And now, used it to destroy me. In the crowd, one of the parents screamed first. The one whose son was in the ICU. What a calculated setup. You monsters, my son almost died. You should pay with your lives. His rage ignited the others. The mob shouted, cried, cursed, demanded justice. Chaos exploded again. I dragged myself from the ground, body trembling, and raised my phone. I've called the police. They'll be here any minute. I looked into the live stream camera, my voice unwavering. You really think yesterday's classroom wasn't recorded? I knew you'd try to frame me, I said calmly, lifting my phone. So I recorded everything. And now? I'm releasing it. Let's see how you spin this. Yesterday, the moment I realized I had been reborn, I hit record. Even when Ethan smashed my phone later, it didn't matter, everything had already been uploaded to the cloud. I opened the folder, selected the edited clip, and hit send. Just then, police sirens echoed in the distance. The live stream was still running. And the moment the video went live, the truth hit the screen like a tidal wave. I was seen trying to stop them, begging my classmates not to go to the bar. Only to be mocked and ridiculed. Then Ethan appeared on screen, snatching my admission ticket, smirking with arrogance. Then his voice rang out, cold and commanding. Lock her in the gym. Let her out after the party. The sound of the metal doors slamming shut echoed, raw and damning. Then came his quiet conversation with Sophie, clear as day. Don't be jealous. I'm the class monitor, just helping my classmates enjoy themselves. If it were your birthday, I'd do the same. Be good. I'll come pick you up later. Every detail. Every word. Unedited. Unfiltered. Unforgivable. The internet was stunned. Holy crap. That's her boyfriend? He locked her in a gym just to throw a party for his side chick? Suddenly, someone shouted. Look. Ethan and Sophie are live streaming again. All eyes turned to me. They said you made Ethan frame Sophie yesterday. They said you'll apologize on live stream later. So, who's lying here? I stared coldly at the speaker. Who forced you to drink? You ruined your own college entrance exam, and now you're looking for someone else to blame? His face turned bright red. He said nothing. My phone buzzed. Ethan. Calling. I stared at the screen, a storm building in my chest. He still thought I'd take the fall for him? I picked up, expressionless. His voice came through, thick with fake sorrow. Emma. Sophie and we're desperate. If this doesn't blow over, we won't even be allowed to retake the college entrance exam next year. You don't want to see us suffer like this, right? On social media, the tide turned instantly. She didn't even get to take the exam. Her ticket was stolen. That guy wasn't even planning to take it, he ripped up her chance. They locked her up the night before the exam? Are these people out of their minds? The live chat that once spewed hatred was now a flood of rage. But not at me. Sophie's expression twisted. Panic broke through the cracks. It's fake. The video's edited. I have classmates who can vouch for me. Ethan, say something. But Ethan stood frozen. He stared blankly at the footage playing behind him. His own face, his own words. Pale as paper. Speechless. Seconds later, he reached out and ended the live stream. But it was too late. The truth was out. The comments section exploded like a dam breaking. Apologize to Emma right now. Call the police. Lock them up. Sophie, you're disgusting. Ethan, rot in hell. I exhaled sharply, still holding my father, his blood soaking my clothes. The ambulance finally arrived. My legs gave out as I stumbled in behind the medics. Behind me, the police began detaining rioting parents. It was over. The chaos. The betrayal. The lies. Finally. Over. I held on as long as I could. And then, darkness. I collapsed. When I opened my eyes, it was already the next day. I had been unconscious for over 24 hours. Down the hallway, the classmates who were hospitalized for alcohol poisoning were recovering in a shared ward. Their sobs echoed faintly through the corridor. Parents crouched outside, faces full of exhaustion and regret. Wearing a hospital gown, I walked past slowly. Some looked up and immediately turned away in shame. A few students who once pretended to be my friends approached, heads bowed, voices cracking. Emma. We're so sorry. We should have listened. If only we'd left the bar earlier. It was Sophie and Ethan, they made us go, made us drink. But others quickly jumped in. Don't blame them now. You all wanted to try drinking. Sophie and Ethan meant well. You made your own choices. I stood in silence, watching them argue. A cold smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. They still didn't know that Sophie did it all on purpose. But they would. Very soon. I turned to leave. When someone shouted, "Hey! Look! Ethan and Sophie are live streaming again." All eyes turned to me. They're saying you made Ethan frame Sophie yesterday. They claim you'll go live later and apologize publicly. Another voice broke through. Who's lying here? Who's going to take responsibility for all of this? I stopped walking. Then I turned slowly to face them, expression calm, voice cold as ice. Let's find out. I looked at the speaker coldly, my tone like ice. Who forced you to drink? You ruined your own college entrance exam, now you want to blame someone else? His face flushed bright red. He had nothing left to say. Just then, my phone buzzed. Ethan. I stared at the screen, a storm already rising inside me. Did he really think I'd still take the blame? I answered, face expressionless. His voice came through, thick with fake emotion. Emma. Sophie and we're desperate. If this doesn't blow over, we won't even be allowed to retake the college entrance exam next year. You don't want to see us suffer. Right? I laughed bitterly. What about me, Ethan? You stole my admission ticket. Locked me in a gym. Spread lies about me. What exactly do you expect me to do? I couldn't even take the exam. If you drag me down again, my life is over. Have you ever thought about that? His voice stayed calm, too calm. Your family's rich. Can't you just throw money around to quiet things down? Even if you don't get into a top university, it's fine. Just go to a junior college. I'll work hard and support you, okay? I sneered. Then let Sophie take the blame. You can support her. His voice softened, mistaking my contempt for jealousy. How could she compare to you? Her dream is Yale. How could I let her lose that? Besides, he added, lowering his voice, the one I've always liked is you. I was going to confess to you last night, on the way home from school. I laughed again, cold, bitter. You say you like me. And yet you locked me away? Stole my ticket? Slept with Sophie and filmed it just to humiliate me? There was silence. Then a shaky, panicked whisper. You. How do you know? Who told you? It's fake. None of it's true. She sent it to me herself, I replied quietly. Want me to forward it back to you, so you can savor it again? He was speechless. I hung up. Seconds later, my phone lit up with messages. Emma, I'm sorry. Sophie and I drank too much. I didn't mean to tear your ticket. We made a deal, if we help Sophie now, she'll stay out of my life. You've always cared about my relationship with her. But now she's out of the picture. I'll be yours alone, okay? Start a live broadcast in an hour. Clear things up. We'll be together. Okay? I read it all. Smiled coldly. The live broadcast will begin. His replies came in rapid bursts, hearts, I love you emojis. Ethan. Yes, I'll do the live broadcast. But take the blame? Keep dreaming. 1 hour later, I went live. The entire country was watching. I looked straight into the camera. Hello everyone. I'm one of the people involved in this incident. I'm here to tell you the truth. The chat exploded. Some were vile, screaming that I was faking it. But others pushed back. If it was really her fault, why would she tear her own admission ticket? Then Ethan joined the stream. I accepted his request. He looked at me with what he thought was guilt and affection. I said calmly, let me play something for you all. His face turned pale instantly. Emma. Think carefully. Once some things are said, there's no going back. The same old threats. I wasn't afraid anymore. I pressed play. First, his threats. His cruelty. Then, a hacked message from Sophie's own account. I can't really take the exam. All my grades are fake. If I fail, I'm done. And another. Pretending to be sick is better than getting exposed. I'll drag down those academic elites, especially Ethan and Emma. If they both get in, I'll never have a chance. Then the most damning part, her plan to use Ethan, blame me, and manipulate the media. The chat fell silent. Then, boom. The comment section exploded. This is insane. She ruined everyone's future just for herself? Justice for Emma. More damning evidence followed, screenshots, confessions, receipts. I even played a clip of Sophie admitting. Ethan? I thought he was rich. Now that he's useless, I'll just take the baby to my real man. He said he'd leave his wife for me. Ethan's face crumbled on screen. He ended the stream. But it was too late. The public had seen it all. In the ward next door, I could hear Furious crying. Sophie, you bitch. Ethan, you bastard. You made us miss our futures. You'll pay for this. I ended the live stream. Shut it all down. Outside the hospital window, the world looked quiet. Peaceful. For the first time in weeks. I felt calm. In the following days, many classmates messaged me. Lead us. Fight back. Use your family's power. Get revenge. But I knew what they really wanted. They wanted a shield. A weapon. A pawn. I ignored them. Sophie was humiliated publicly, then disappeared from social media. But even then, she had the audacity to text me. You think you've won? Ethan's still mine. I'll make sure you fail your next entrance exam. I didn't respond. Her downfall had only just begun. News trickled in over the months. Ethan tried to blame me, then changed his tune. He apologized, sent love confessions, tried to act pitiful. Sophie's pregnant. I have to take responsibility. But after the baby's born, we'll retake the exam together, okay? I sent him a screenshot in reply. A full scholarship acceptance to a top-tier foreign university. No need. You and I live in different worlds now. He never replied again. 4 years later. I graduated top of my class. Accepted directly into a PhD program. When I returned to the US for research, I heard the updates. The once famous rocket class? Wiped out. Only a handful scraped by, and most had to repeat the year. Sophie? Dropped out. Pregnant. Living with Ethan's family, clinging to his name. Ethan? Disowned by his parents. Doing odd jobs. Repeating exams. Sophie? Still flirting with her backup man. Eventually, Ethan found out. They fought. He snapped. He was arrested for assault. Now sitting in prison. Sophie? Beaten by the wife of her supposed big brother. Hospitalized. When I heard all that, I just smiled faintly and zipped up my bag. That's all? I have a plane to catch. As the plane lifted, I looked out the window one last time. In this life, I chose myself. And that made all the difference.